There are two types of people in this world. People who take risks, and then there are people who don't. And when you look at the lives of the most successful people, they have one thing in common. They took risks. Every single one of them took risks. So why are we so risk averse? Why do we hold ourselves back from taking that next step? Well, I think it comes down to our mindset. So in today's video, what I want to do is I want to talk about 3 ways that you can reset your mindset to take more risks and ultimately be more successful in life. Let's get into it. Number 1. You have to reframe how you view failure. So if you Google the word risk, this is the first definition that pops up. Risk, the possibility of something bad happening. You see, for most people, the very first thing they think about when they hear the word risk is risk as loss. When we think about taking a risk, we imagine all the things that could go wrong. We imagine losing money, losing time, losing effort, losing everything. But here's the thing. When you think about risk only in terms of loss, you are guaranteed to not take any risks, because why would you intentionally put yourself in a position where you could lose something? Instead, you need to reframe risk as opportunity. See, when you think about risk in terms of opportunity instead of loss, you imagine all the amazing things that could happen if you take this risk, if you do this new thing. You could meet new people. You could have a new experience. You could learn new skills. You could earn more money. You could live in a new place. All these wonderful things could happen if you take this risk, if you do this new thing. Now, by thinking about risk as opportunity rather than loss, you're going to be much more likely to take that risk, to step out of your comfort zone, and to ultimately be more successful in life. The other day, I was talking to a friend of mine who is an executive at a major tech company, and I was asking him for advice. Just trying to pick his brain on how he got to where he is today, what advice he has for young professionals, etc. And the answer that he gave me really shocked me. He said, "I got to where I am today by taking risks, by stepping outside of my comfort zone." But then I followed up with a question. I said, "Well, how did you deal with the times where you failed?" Because we all fail. We all make mistakes, right? And his response was this. He said, I don't view failure as a bad thing. In fact, I view failure as the only way that I can learn. If I'm not failing, if I'm not making mistakes, if I'm not stepping outside of my comfort zone, then I'm not learning. And if I'm not learning, then I'm not growing as a person. And ultimately, that's the goal, right? That's the point of it all. It's not to never fail. It's to grow. It's to become a better version of ourselves over time. And that really changed my perspective. Like, I thought about it, and I was like, wow, I think I've been doing it backwards. I've been viewing failure as a bad thing, as something to avoid, as something to fear. But maybe failure is the only way that I can learn and grow. So I want you guys to think about that as well. I want you to think about how you view failure. Is it a bad thing, or is it actually a good thing? Is it something that you should be embracing? Okay. The second way that you can reset your mindset when it comes to taking risks is by focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you see and. So let's say you're thinking about starting a new business. You're thinking about leaving your job and doing something new. You're thinking about moving to a new city, but you're paralyzed by all the things that could go wrong. Maybe your business fails. Maybe you run out of money. Maybe you get sick. Maybe your family doesn't support you. There's just all these things that could happen that are just, out of your control, right? They're outside factors. So instead of focusing on those things, instead of focusing on all the things that could go wrong, focus on the things that you can control. Can you create a great product? Can you hustle every single day? Can you persevere through tough times? Can you adapt to changing circumstances? These are the things that you should be focusing on. So when you're thinking about taking a risk, when you're thinking about doing something new, something outside of your comfort zone, Focus on the things that you can control and let go of the things that you can't. One of the best books that I've read on this topic is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. This book is all about how you can use obstacles, the things that stand in your way, the things that hold you back, and use them to your advantage. And it's all about shifting your mindset. And in the book, Ryan tells the story of this guy named Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was the Roman emperor who ruled over Rome during one of its most prosperous times. And despite having all the power and all the wealth in the world, he too faced obstacles. He faced wars, he faced plagues, he faced rebellions. But instead of seeing these obstacles as bad things, as negative things, Marcus Aurelius saw them as opportunities for growth. He saw them as chances to become a better leader, a better ruler, a better human being. And so whenever he faced an obstacle, he would say to himself, the obstacle is the way. So next time you're feeling overwhelmed by all the obstacles standing in your way, all the reasons why you can't do something, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. Remember that the obstacle is the way. Use those obstacles to your advantage, and you will be unstoppable. Okay. The third and final way that you can reset your mindset when it comes to taking risks is by accepting that you don't know everything. Now, I'll be honest with you. I struggled with this one for a long time. I used to think that I knew it all. I used to think that I had all the answers. I used to think that I had everything figured out. But in reality, we don't know anything. Like we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. We don't know what opportunities are out there. We don't know what challenges are out there. We don't know what we're capable of until we put ourselves in new situations. And once you realize that you don't know everything, once you realize that you don't have all the answers, you will be much more likely to take risks, to step outside of your comfort zone, to try new things, because you'll be curious. You'll want to explore. You'll want to learn. You'll want to discover what's out there. So instead of holding yourself back because you think you know it all, because you think you have everything figured out, let go of that ego. Let go of that pride and realize that you don't know everything. Be open to new possibilities. Be open to new experiences. Be open to new learning, and you will be amazed at what you discover about yourself, about the world, about the opportunities that are out there. When it comes to taking risks, we all have to face the fear of looking stupid, the fear of being judged by others, the fear of not fitting in. But I am here to tell you that you don't have to let those fears hold you back. You don't have to let the fear of looking stupid prevent you from taking risks. I want you to think about this quote from the late, great David Bowie. He said, "Being an outsider looking in is a lot less damaging to your psyche than being an insider knowing you are out." What he is saying there is that it is better to be yourself and be different than to conform and be fake. It's better to be an outsider looking in than an insider knowing you're out. So don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to be weird. Don't be afraid to be judged by others. Be yourself. That's what matters most. And who knows, maybe in the process of being yourself, you'll discover that you have superpowers. Thank you guys so much for watching. And before you go, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post new videos every day on how to become the best version of yourself.